Now that you have finished your necklace, you have attached your clasp, you need to present it somehow, because even if you don't sell it, you can't just drop it in the recipient's hand and say, have it. So far I was buying the boxes, and this is one of the cheapest ones, and they offer you this option of having the necklace kind of like this, and I must say I don't like it. And obviously the problem is always with the color. I couldn't afford to buy too many colors to give a nice contrast to all the color of seed beads that I'm using. So plus they take quite some space to store, and also if you want to post them, they end up in having quite a big fee for the postage. So I was very unhappy, and I looked for some packaging options that would allow me to be more flexible and even more creative. So I came up with this idea for my necklaces. Here I have the template that I call narrow top fold, and I'm using it usually for the slim necklaces. To create this card holder, jewelry holder, we need two basic items. We need the card base, and then we need to create the holder, the necklace holder. The third element, which is really up to you, is to customize the top of the card, and then if you want, the inside of the card as well. But this is a separate part and is really up to you. This is the basic template that we need to stick with. The necklaces that I am using this template for are usually the small length, 39, 40, 41, for up to 42 centimeters long. So this would be the length of the necklace that this template would do well. And the narrow, I'm using it for the narrow top. I'm using it for the narrow necklaces. For the wider ones, I have a slightly different template. For this template, the narrow top fold, we need two types of cardstock. A thicker one, I am using 210 GSM for the card base, and then 150 GSM, it could be even a 120 GSM card for the holder, because we are going to double it to make sure that it's strong enough, especially when you have a thicker and heavier necklace like this one, which is made with gemstones. You will appreciate to have a strong holder. So let's start working on the template. So step one is to cut the card base. We have the 210 GSM card, and on an A4 piece of paper, on the short side we find the midpoint, and it will be 10.5, and then we cut. And here we have two halves. Now I write at the bottom the thickness of the card, so I know what I have when I'm not working with it. We just take one of the halves and fold it, and here you have the card base. On our 150 GSM we measure 10 by 18, a rectangle of 10 by 18, and here we have 10. And here we have 18, and cut. We cut 10, and then 18, and here we have our holder. We need to fold it, and the next step is to use double-sided tape to glue these sides together. You can also use liquid glue. Somehow I find that this one is easier to use. And here we have the fold, and here we have the top. This holder will be attached like this on the card. So the fold will stay towards the middle of the card. Now we need to score some lines. This is the 10 centimeters side. We put this 10 centimeter side parallel with the side of the scoring board. And now we count 1, 2, 3 and score. This would be for 1 centimeter, and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and this is 1.5 or 1.6 in centimeters. Okay, so here we have one scoring line, the second scoring line. For our holder, we need to create on the side some triangles that will hold the necklace quite well in place. So for this, we need to find point 1, 2 and 3 and then cut. So for this, from the second scoring line we count 1, 2, 3, 4 and make a small dot on the side, and on the other side 1, 2, 3 and 4. So in this moment we have this point and this point. Now we need to find out this point. This point is at 1.5 centimeters inside. So to find that point, on the line of the 2nd centimeter, one and a half, and I draw a small line, and on the other side the same, 1.5, and I draw a small sign. I skip the line of 3 and I go to the line of 4, 1.5, 1.5, and now I just trace the line between these 2 points. And now we cut with a pair of scissors. And now I'd like to create the rounded corners, and I'm using a punch for the corners. And here the holder is ready. Now we have our base card, and we attach this way the holder on the base card. With a little bit of double-sided tape. And just make sure that is symmetrical, and the top of the holder comes right where the fold of the card is. And here we are. Here we have the holder.